What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your brewmaster-in-chief. And tonight, in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with another episode of Spoiler Talk. And Wizards does not disappoint. They just keep bringing the fire. This set is gonna warp the meta, like, big time. I think it's about time too that we got a set like this that shakes things up a lot. So yeah, there's been another five uncommons that were spoiled last night after I hit stop record, so we'll dive into those, and then there's a bunch of commander stuff which we'll just skip over. And you know, just when again you thought we might arrive at the point in spoiler season when it's mostly commons and uncommons, nope, there's still plenty of rares and mythics here to get through. So it's quite a few, and I still need to record a deck tech, so I better get cracking. First up, we got Take to the Streets. 5 mana sorcery that gives all of your creatures +2/+2 until end of turn, and then if those creatures also happen to be citizens, or if you also have some citizens, those citizens will get an additional +1/+1 and gain vigilance. So potentially a pretty sweet little finisher in like a free-to-play citizens deck. Which we need to keep our eye on. You know, you wouldn't play like a 4-of or anything like that, but if you've managed to get that board nice and wide with all the little citizen tokens, at some point you can just top deck one of these, boom, 5 mana, give everybody +3/+3 and vigilance and swing in. I think that's pretty freaking fantastic. So we'll have to keep our eye on this little uncommon over here. Next up, Cobrador de Riveteers. Okay, so I've Riveteers is the Riveteers. Seems to be Portuguese. Okay, it's got blitz. That's what I can tell. My Portuguese is terrible. Riveteers Requisitioner. 1 and a red for a Raccoon Rogue. When it dies, you create a treasure token. Okay, cool. So the blitz is more expensive than the normal casting cost. But then in this case, when it dies, you would not just only draw a card, you'll also get treasure. Man, there's a lot of treasure generation in this set. Like, absolute bonkers how much treasures there are in this set. And I think that's actually going to help cast some of these, like, more expensive and weirdly, you know, the mana costs of some of these cards have got some crazy amount of different types of mana, and you won't necessarily need to go into 5 colors. You'll just be able to play you know, your treasure generators. Like I said, there's lots of them. Next up, we got Torch Breath. Okay, so it's another one of these in the cycle where you know, hates on a specific color. You know, of course, red hates on green typically. So this will cost 2 less to cast if it targets a blue permanent. There's not that many blue creatures that are being played. You know, there's just really Hullbreaker Horror, Jin-Gitaxias. What else? I mean, you guys tell me. I don't see any blue creatures anywhere on the format when I'm playing on the ladder every day, other than those 2, and they're usually just right at the top end, so you'll be needing to dump a lot of mana into this regardless to get rid of a Hullbreaker Horror, and then they'll probably just still bounce it. That card is still just one of my least favorite cards that Wizard has printed in a long time. Fortunately, I don't run into it as often as we used to. The format's probably just a little bit too fast for it. Thank goodness. But still interesting. Another one of these. So basically, it's similar to the new Flare card that I use in my modified decks, where you get a little reduction of 2 to cast it. So you're always going to be doing 2 extra damage for the mana that you have available. In that case, it's if you've got a modified creature on the battlefield, so it's way more versatile. This is only if you're targeting blue spells. But it can't be countered, which is nice. Very, very nice. Fried Squid coming up. Oh, that's classic. Oh, that's classic. Next up, we got Citizen's Crowbar. Another equipment. 1 and a white. When it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Then you attach Citizen's Crowbar to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has pay 1 white, tap it, sacrifice it and destroy target artifact or enchantment. Ha, that's great flavor text. You know, or flavor for the... There's no flavor text, but great flavor. Getting sort of a Half-Life vibes from this with the crowbar. Morgan, what's his name? Freeman something? Gordon Freeman? Nice. Kinda nice. And then you can just equip it to another creature and just keep destroying artifacts and enchantments. Hey, that's not terrible. You know, especially in decks like the equipment deck. It's already a very difficult balancing act between threats and equipment. And then if you also still need to put in there like removal and, you know, for creatures and, you know, artifacts and enchantments, that takes away from slots in the deck that you would rather be having, you know, more equipments or more creatures to equip them to. So when you have these cards that are effectively making up for the enchantment and artifact removal in your deck and still being an equipment, that's great. We've got a lot of this stuff happening right now in Standard where it's like a creature that also destroys an artifact or enchantment. We've got the Cathar Commando, we've got the green werewolf guy that does the same thing. So I like it when they do that. So you can basically just save a few slots in your deck. Instead of running artifact and enchantment removal, you just run another equipment, which also destroys artifacts and enchantments. Fantastic. I like this little one. I wonder if it'll see any play, though, if this equipment deck will finally be a thing outside of Alchemy. And I know they've recently buffed a bunch of the equipment stuff in Alchemy, but apparently from what I've been seeing in social media, it hasn't really, you know, done much. Most people are a little bit pissed off that they should be nerfing, I guess, Beetook Massacre. Beg your pardon. Here's another one of these color hate cards. This one's called Whack. It's just business. You'll understand. So kind of reminding me of Ray of Enfeeblement. That's been seeing a lot of play in sideboards for the mono white aggro matchup. That one just costs one black no matter what. This one only will cost one black if it's targeting a white creature. And it's sorcery speed. So I think Ray of Enfeeblement is just altogether the better card. I don't see why you would run this over that. I guess in limited this might see some play, but otherwise it's just the worst card. It's sorcery speed, and it costs 4 if you're targeting non-white creature. And it effectively does the same thing. Ray of Enfeeblement does -4, -2, I think it is, if it's a non-white creature, and then -4/-4 if it is a white creature. So yeah, I mean, you can get rid of more stuff, even if it's not white, but the fact that it's sorcery speed and costs 4 just makes it basically unplayable to me. But that's it as far as April 13th. I wonder why these commander cards are all weirdly colored like this, but anyway, don't really care. And here we are. We've arrived at April 14th. So quite a few, but not as much as usual, thankfully. I don't have to talk so much. And then I can get right into tonight's deck tech. I've got a spicy one lined up for you guys. So Deal Gone Bad. 3 colorless, 1 black. For an instant, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. Target player mills 3 cards. So very similar to what we just saw down there with Whack. But these -3/-3 things. I was just noticing that it would be really funny. You're playing against a mill deck, and then you can kill their Rune Crab and get them to mill some cards. But yeah, this won't see any play. It's maybe in draft, but even there I don't see that seeing much play. Next up, we got a uncommon 1 mana. Ooh, instant speed. Nice. Oh, actually, I saw this one on social media. This is one I couldn't help but being spoiled. It was all over the place today. I was never here. It's nice because it's another one of these phase-out cards. So, you know, probably really good in Azorius Tempo, maybe in some sort of Magecraft decks that seems to be coalescing out of these new cards. I think this is going to be a player. This will definitely see some play. Slip out the back, one blue for an instant speed. You put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature, and it phases out. I can imagine also all the Goldspan Dragon people are going to be playing this. Lately in the Jeskai combo decks and all of that, a lot of people are running like a couple copies of the blue March card from Kamigawa that also phases things out. So you get to save your Goldspan Dragon and get a treasure token, and instead of like Fading Hope, which means it goes back to your hand and you have to recast it, this is just altogether better because your Goldspan also comes back from being phased out with an additional +1/+1. So just this is definitely going to see some play, and I think finally Azorius Tempo might be an actual serious force to be reckoned with. It's been slowly creeping its way in and out of certain tournaments, mostly as best of 3, yeah. I've seen a few cards that might make it finally viable. And then, of course, in Magecraft, you're going to be able to save your, your Leonin Lightscribe and also grow it, that type of thing. I quite like it. Next up, Jetmir's Fixer. Okay, so Cabaretti card. I always perk up when I see a Cabaretti card. 2 mana, Gruul colors, red and a green. For a Cat Warrior 2/2, you pay an additional, well, whenever you want, because it's you don't have to tap it, so it's instant speed. Red and a green. Jetmir's Fixer gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If mana from a treasure was spent to activate this ability, put a +1/+1 counter on it instead. Hey, that's a great little common. That's a great little common. Again, with the number of treasures that we have coming, that won't be difficult at all to do. And, doesn't say you can only activate this once each turn. Oh, no, it does. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. As long as you have treasures, you could just, like, maybe dump, I don't know. And if you had Goldspan Dragon. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Nice little common. Wow. I mean, there's already a Gruul deck that plays Goldspan Dragon and a Seeker's Chariot, but they're having trouble with finding a decent 2-drop. Like, I saw even Croakies was running the Landfall guy, the Brushfire Elemental. Maybe this is better? Because of all the treasures? We'll have to see. Keep your eyes on this little guy. Next up, we got Rox Pamela. 5 and a green for a Rhino Soldier. Enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. It has trample as long as it has a shield counter on it. It's a 6/3. Yeah, too expensive. Limited, maybe. On to the next one. Blessing of Safety. Aha! I knew this would happen. They needed a card like this. For many reasons. The deck that has all the shield counters is the Obscura. Obscura has white. I knew that there would be a card that would allow you to put those shield counters back on things once they get removed. It's going to be pretty frustrating, I think, for the opponent to, like, you have this in hand, it's instant speed, it's cheap. Pardon me. I've just woken up again after a little beauty sleep. It's 3:30. I need to wake up. So, they go for your creature that has the shield counter on it. They've already wasted one removal spell on it. They're going to go for the second one. And then on the stack, you put another shield counter on it with this guy. That's going to be terrible. And you get to scry 1. Extra added upside. That's a lot of value for a little 1 mana. This is going to definitely see some play in my Magecraft deck. See if anybody else. This card I keep bringing up, which I saw a little bit of play in Mavinda in the Magecraft decks, but then kind of just pewtered off. Mavinda, Student's Advocate, Bird Advisor. You may cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 more to cast this way. So, of course, you're never going to use them to the spells from your graveyard to target opponent's creatures. It's just your creatures. So then you've previously cast Blessing of the Safety here, and then you can just recast it again with Mavinda from the yard. I think that's freaking amazing. Magecraft, I think, alongside a few other things that I've been saying during all these episodes of Spoiler Talk, is finally getting a little bit of love, and it might become tier whatever. I can't wait to try that out on day 1. Ooh, I've been saving gold. I got so much gold saved up, and gems. I think probably it'll end up being around 50,000 gold by the time the set rolls around. So we're going to be cracking loads of packs on day 1. Don't forget to tune in for that. Next up, we got, looks like a blue creature. Wing Shield Agent. 2 in a blue for a human soldier. Enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Whenever it attacks, you choose up to 1 target creature. It gains flying until end of turn. So, of course, you can choose itself. Hey, that's not a terrible little uncommon. I don't know if it'll see any play. It's a little bit understated, but it's got a shield counter. It's not that expensive to cast, and it can give itself flying when it attacks, so not terrible. Then we've got Escarbello the Halo, another Portuguese card. Halo Scarab. Escaravello. Okay, man. Portuguese is please, any Portuguese viewers in my subscribers, let me know how to pronounce this properly. I mean, it's Scarabeo in Italian, so I'm thinking it's like Escaravello. That sounds so sexy. 2 mana for an insect, another insect artifact. Quite a few of them building up now. We've got the Mender in standard right now from Kamigawa, which I really like. It's got that sweet, not death trigger, but just like exit the battlefield trigger. But this one, you exile it from your graveyard and you create a treasure token. It's a little bit of mana fixing, common. Definitely going to see some play in limited. That's about it, I think. Unless there's a sweet like artifacts matter deck, but I don't think so either. Next up, Barmando Bar Clandestino. Another Portuguese card. Hey. Server of the Clandestine Bar. 4 and a white for a bird citizen. That's flying, obviously. And when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each other creature you control. Hey! That's not terrible at all. Little bit expensive. But definitely not terrible. Billy's really in the comments, eh? I'm wondering if I'm seeing him because he's also my friend on Facebook. Or it's because Billy's really been at it this spoiler season. But yeah, great finisher for life gain, swing for a Silesian Citizen deck in limited. Yeah, exactly. Limited. Alright, we've arrived at probably some of the more standard playable stuff. First rare of the night, Endless Detour for the brokers. So blue, white, green. Very versatile card. Very versatile card. Ooh, the owner of a target spell, non-land permanent, or card in a graveyard puts it at the top or bottom of their library. So this can, you can do it to the opponent. Maybe you put a non-land permanent they control to the bottom of their library. Bye-bye. You probably won't be finding that again for the rest of the game. Or, you can put a card in your own graveyard to the top of your own library, so you can draw it again the next turn. Add instant speed, so you do it at the opponent's end step, you draw it straight away. Or, I'm assuming you can bounce, kind of like a la Divide by Zero. On the stack, bounce that spell to the opponent's bottom. That's incredibly good card, man. It's like a divide by 0. It's like 3 or 4 different cards in one. I can see why they gave this rare. Very, very nice card for the Obscura deck. And I'll probably be playing it in my band control lists as well. Very, very nice. Next up, we got the Dapper Shieldmate. I'm so dapper, baby. Descended from old Capenna's paladins, the brokers are masters of the defensive combats. 3 colorless, 4 mana total, 3 colorless and a white. For a human soldier, 2/2, enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. As long as it's your turn, Dapper Shieldmate gets +2/+up. Draft card, limited card. Won't see any play in standard. Rigo, Streetwise Mentor. Another one of these with the crazy casting cost. I think this will probably be the last one. I think we've got it one for each crime family. This will be the one for the brokers. So, like, you know, I've been saying every time, it can be played in mono white, it can be played in Selesnya, it can be played in Bant, it can be played in Azorius. Nice. 2/2 Cat Citizen enters the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Whenever you attack a player or a planeswalker with 1 or more creatures with power 1 or less, draw a card. So you'll only ever really be drawing 1 card. The way this is worded, even if you have like these creatures with power 1 or less, one of them's attacking the player, one of them's attacking the planeswalker, it doesn't really matter. It's or player, whenever you attack a player or planeswalker with 1 or more. So it'll only, but still, be drawing you an additional card. And just let me have a quick look back down here. There was this guy here. Whenever Civil Servant attacks, you may tap another untapped citizen you control. If you do, Civil Servant... No, it wasn't that one. There was one that drew you a card. There was also a citizen. Yeah, it was this one. Okay, no, it wasn't a citizen. It just has the same casting cost. Whenever Park Heights Pegasus deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If you had 2 or more creatures into... No, okay. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Still, starting to be like quite a bit of sort of okay card draw. And, you know, you could be playing this in mono white. So, interesting. To say the least. The citizen deck is getting interesting. And like it's a cat again. So cat tribal. Cat citizens tribal. With, Janine. Interesting. Very nice. I like it. These shield counters, we'll have to see how they end up playing out, whether they're any good at all. Of course, it's great against sweepers, but like, you know, Me Took Massacre doesn't care about that, I don't think, because it's not dealing damage. It's not a destroy effect. See, if we dealt damage or destroyed, it's neither of those. So, Me Took Massacre is still going to be the main sweeper. And, of course, exile effects don't care about this. And I have a feeling that the new 3-mana Obscura... this spell cannot be countered. Destroy target non-land permanent. You know, I can't remember what it's called, and I don't want to scroll down now, but you know the one I mean. I think that might be able to get around these shield counters. Cannot be counted. But this isn't really countering. We'll have to see. I saw something strange. And I'd love to get the official ruling on this from one of my viewers. If you've got the, you know, the rules, you know, well in your head. Seth, Saffron Olive from MTG Goldfish, said something like the ward on creatures. And that card that I'm talking about. Okay, let's scroll down. Just in case you don't know which one I'm referring to. I believe it was here. Yeah, Void Rend. This spell can't be countered, destroy target non-land permanent. He was saying that if you target a creature with ward, you're saying don't pay the ward. Let it resolve, and then it'll still get destroyed. That this will get around ward. So would that mean that that spell also gets around the shield counters? Or is Seth wrong? He's rarely wrong. He knows a lot about the game, clearly. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. But if that gets around the shield counters, that's pretty cool. Next up, this guy's been all over social media today as well. I've avoided reading it, but I've seen a lot of people raving about this card. Subestimado Tenaz. Okay, this one's in Spanish. So it's got Blitz, Tenacious Underdog, Subestimado, yeah, okay, man, Spanish is also a real lovely language. Tenacious Underdog, 1 in the black for a human warrior. It's a 3/2, and then you can pay a blitz cost of 2 colorless and 2 black, and pay 2 life. And then you can cast Tenacious Underdog from your graveyard using its blitz ability. That's a goodie. I can see why. I'd be his subestimado any day. Hey, Justine. That's, what's that, like an 8-pack? Nice. What was that about the depiction of sexualized... Yeah, it's always, interesting when it's on, you know, the shoes on the other foot or whatever. It's a problem when we have cleavages and all these sexy ladies, but then look at this guy. Steamy. That's great. That's a great card. That's a great card. Of course, you can just keep bringing it back. Of course, you have to pay life for it. Typical black sort of stuff. But in your Blitz deck, I think this is going to be a 4-of. It's a 2-drop. And you know, you can blitz it in, you get all the value from all the blitz stuff, and then you can just keep blitzing it in from your graveyard. And as long as you've got some life gain in the deck, that's 2 life isn't going to be a problem. We're going to have to keep our eye very closely on this guy. Subestimado Tenaz. Next up, we got a very expensive card. But like I said, these cards that seem very expensive is another one. I think with the ridiculous amount of treasure generation that we have in the set, and it's in every color, I think it's not going to be as much of a problem as people think it is to cast something like this. So it's 7 mana for a creature avatar. It's a 5/7. Pardon me. When it enters the battlefield, you destroy up to 3 other target non-land permanents. For each of those permanents, its controller creates a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying. So yeah. Some sort of banned treasure deck, obviously. I mean, makes sense, right? You bring it in, you destroy 3 of your treasures that you have lying about, or whatever other stupid token that you don't really care about, and then you get like a total of how many freaking power on the battlefield? 5. And then how many of these 3/3s? Okay, so 3 of them potentially. So 9 plus 5. 14 power. That's really not too bad at all. We'll have to see whether it's prohibitively expensive and a little bit too slow. But I think, especially in that deck, you know, that's going to be running that artifact. You know the one I mean. There's that artifact that makes it so that all your lands tap for an additional treasure on top of the mana that they already generate. Where are you? Okay, well, look, I'm not going to spend the whole night scrolling around here, but you know the one I mean. Yeah, I think it's further up here. It's a 6 mana artifact, and all your lands tap. You know, when your lands tap, they'll also make a treasure. So I think, you know, there's going to be ways to... Here it is. Bootlegger's Stash. Lands you control have tap, create a treasure token. That's going to really help with this type of thing. Banned treasures, madness, tokens, shenanigans. Pretty interesting, and I cannot wait to try it. Case the joint. Hey, I better case that joint. Steel door and iron bars are child's play for an obscura operative. 3 colorless and a blue for an instant speed. Draw 2 cards, then look at the top card of each player's library. Hey, that's not terrible. Will it supplant Memory Deluge? Probably not, but in limited, this is going to be a bomb diggity. Next up, we got the Riveteers, one of these things, you know, these super expensive ones, but that you can, like, you know, exile it from your hand and then still cast it from exile at a later state. And while it's in exile, you can sorry, no, then you target one of your lands, and it gives your land the ability to tap for any of these colors, and then you can cast it again at a later stage. The other ones had like a cool little thing that it does, you know, even though it's really expensive, eventually you cast it, and it had like, oh, either make a treasure when it enters the battlefield or whatever. This one's just a Vigilance Menace 5/5, which isn't terrible. I wonder how many copies of these you'd be running in your decks, if at all, in standard, or if they're really just more of a limited thing. We'll have to see. But I kind of like a lot of them. Because the cost to get them into exile is quite cheap, and the effect that they all provide with fixing your mana isn't bad at all. Kind of just makes any of your lands into one of these tri-lands. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to test them and see if they end up being actually playable. Maybe like a 2-of or something in most of your decks. Next up, Even the Score. This is a weird one. Probably like certain matches, like control mirrors and things like that. You'll bring this in from the sideboard. Otherwise, I don't see whenever this is going to cost the 3 blue less, because, you know, the opponent needs to have drawn 4 or more cards this turn. There's not that many decks that like will be drawing 4 cards on your turn. It's 4 cards on this turn. So either, you know, the opponent plays some crazy spell like this one, and does like X's 4 and pays 7 mana for it, or, you know, they do one of these, what was it called again? I always forget the name of this card because I never play it. But it's the blue MDFC from Zendikar Rising, Seagate Restoration, or something like that, where they draw just a bunch of cards during their turn, and then you even the score. You just pay the X cost. The 3 blue is gone, and you can dump a bunch of mana into this thing, and at instant speed, draw a bunch of cards. Cool. I think even if you don't have to get rid of the 3 blue, there'll be decks that will like this. You know, opponent's end step, they tapped out, you've got a bunch of mana available, maybe even your like Teferi decks that like you've managed to ultimate Teferi, and you're untapping all of your lands every turn. So you've always got obscene mana to play with, and then you can just draw a lot of cards potentially here, obviously, because it's X, and the infinity is the limit, or I guess as many lands as you have in your deck. Next up, we got Sanctuary Warden. Ooh, another angel! Oh man, I'm excited for Angel Tribal. I'm getting it. And also like I guess more sort of mono white mid-rangey. Sanctuary Warden. 6 mana. So on the same spot on the curve as the Valkyrie that I was playing in Kaya's Angels. Only a few days back. How do you spell Valkyrie again? Here we go. Valkyrie Harbinger. Flying lifelink. At the beginning of the end step, if you gained 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. It's a 4/5. This is a 5/5. The art is fantastic. Let's see what it does. It's got flying, obviously. Enters the battlefield with 2 shield counters on it. Ooh, tasty. It's going to be really hard to get rid of. I wish it was more like... I wish it wasn't just destroy, but even exile, because banishing verse is just going to make light work of this thing. But anyway, whenever Sanctuary Warden enters the battlefield or attacks, you may remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. Nice that it's also planeswalker. If you do, draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. Wow, these yawns just keep coming. Can't stop myself. Sorry. I think the new Elspeth and this type of thing are, again, I've said it before in previous videos, signaling a shift away from mono white being the leading aggro deck in the format. We'll probably have to wait till rotation, but I think once that happens and the Aspirant goes and things like that, mono white is going to shift into a more mid-rangey type of brew, which I personally am all for. It's one of my favorite You know, before, when we still had War of the Spark, here it is, you know, 2 rotations back. I was playing Ajani and all these. I was like very much a mid-rangey mono white type of a gamer, and I was enjoying it a lot. It's also the type of stuff I would be into at my LGS when I was a kid. So I'm all for it. And you know, it's about time another aggro color takes over as the de facto best aggro deck in the format. So I'm okay with this, and this might be a great top end. It synergizes well with the new Elspeth Planeswalker. So we're definitely going to be trying it. I've been trying it already, sort of putting in AO at the top end and having more of a mid-range strategy in my mono-white decks to a certain degree of success. Go and check those videos out. They're on the channel, not too far back. But, yeah, I'm rambling too much. Let's see what others are saying. Very hard to remove. Not sure if it's good enough, but it seems like a nice card as a limited bomb. It seems to be a good card because it doesn't say what kind of counters to remove. Good point, Billy. Good point. I like it. I really like it. I will definitely be putting like a 1 of or a 2 of in my you know, at the top end of my Angel Tribal deck, and also just trying it in mono white mid range with Elspeth. Meeting of the 5. What? What? Okay, so Wooburg +3 is 8. This better win the game if you cast it. 8 mana, 3 colorless and Wooburg for a sorcery speed. Exile the top 10 cards of your library. You may cast spells with exactly 3 colors from among them this turn. Add double Wooburg. Spend this mana only to cast spells with exactly 3 mana colors. Why is this mythic? I don't understand. Someone will have to break this for me to figure it out. I do not get why this is good. For years, the 5 families ruled New Capenna in an uneasy peace, and the city prospered. So it's all the crime bosses getting together and discussing, you know, Halo rations and things. Exactly 3 colors. So then, you know, with what you've just been given, you can cast 2 of them. But you're exiling 10 of them. And you're already paying 8. So you're not going to have much left over in your actual mana base to do anything. Am I missing something? This just seems like a pile of steamy horse crap to me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Next up, we got Structural Assault. 5 mana, 3 and 2 red for a sorcery. Destroy all artifacts. Then, Structural Assault deals damage to each creature equal to the number of artifacts that were put into the graveyard from the battlefield this turn. So notably, and I've learned this recently with Sarulf, when you get rid of a creature token, Sarulf does still get a +1/+1 counter on it, even though that creature token is a token, so it's not really ending up in the graveyard. But the way the ruling is, it's still kind of passing through the graveyard if it's going from the battlefield, if it's being destroyed. And then, because it's a token, it doesn't actually end up being a physical presence in the graveyard, but it still does that. So this is going to be great against, you know, maybe sideboard card for against Rakdos Sacrifice artifact deck, but also just as an answer to this ridiculous amount of treasure generation that we have in the set. The opponent has that green card that we just looked at earlier that doubles all of your mana production from your lands by making a treasure. Now they've got like bonkers treasures. I wish this was instant speed. Even against that Jeskai combo deck with Goldspan and Show of Confidence that I got beaten by in the last tournament. This would have been a great help. You just flash, you know, instant speed, bring it in. It's a bit expensive, but, you know, you destroy all of their treasures. It could be a lot of them. And it's, you know, it also hits yours. Unfortunately, it's all artifacts. And then you could do a lot of damage there. Each creature. So it's a weird sweeper. Really strange sweeper. you might also want to just run it in your treasure deck, because you know you can use your treasures to cast it because it's quite expensive. So now you have none there, and then your opponent has a bunch left, and I don't know. I don't know. Am I missing something? Let's see what people are saying about it in the comments. After the attack on the Vantolin, Vantolione. Must be the name of a building or something. The fragile balance of power shattered completely and the city descended into chaos. I like artifact creature wipe, unique. This is nutty, amazing. With enough treasure out, this could be really deadly. Yeah, I mean, basically exactly what I just said. Sweet, 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 sweet. Sweet card. Next up, ooh, another angel. Inspiring Overseer, 2/1, Angel Cleric with flying. When Inspiring Overseer enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life and draw a card. What? That's a great little common, man. I don't think I'll play it like alongside my Righteous Valkyrie and that sort of thing in your Cleric life gain deck, because the toughness isn't that big. I think that's probably why they did that. The card draw, gain life, flying. Arguably one of the better commons we've seen in the set. Nice one. Which brings us finally to the last card of the night. Let's see if anything else has come out. Ooh, we got one more. Wait, we got lots more. Oh, nice. Alright, forget I said anything. And another... Oof. Another mythic here. So let's just keep on going. We've got a Shapeshifter Rogue for 4 mana, 2 colorless and 2 blue. You may have it enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except as a creature with a shield counter on it, if you control that creature. Wow, that's really nice. That's really nice. I get Glasspool Mimic vibes out of this. I think Glasspool Mimic is probably still a little bit better because it's also a land if you need it to be, and it's a bit cheaper to cast. But the fact that you get a shield counter if you're targeting one of your creatures, that's not bad. And then, or you can just copy one of the opponent's creatures. It doesn't have a shield counter on it, but still. 4 mana to copy an opponent's creature is really not that bad. Probably kind of just very good card here, guys. Ooh, I can imagine already doing plenty of shenanigans with this. Esper Angels just got a nice card, I think. I won't give away what I'm thinking. You'll have to tune in. I got a deck idea. Anyway, Undercover Operative is sweet. Keep your eyes peeled for this guy, I think. Especially, I wish it wasn't too blue. That's about all I can say about it. Next up, Voice of the Vermin. 3 colorless, 1 green, 4 total mana for a 2/2 human citizen. When it enters the battlefield, it does enter the battlefield with a shield counter on it. And then whenever it attacks, target creature you control has a base power and toughness of 4/4 until end of turn. Okay, so I mean, kind of similar to this guy here, where you know it can give itself power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn, or another one that you're attacking with. Ooh. So this is like a broker's card. I beg your pardon, Obscura with the shield counters. No, Obscura doesn't have green. Interesting. Am I wrong? Obscura is... Oh, sorry. It is brokers with the shield counters. Okay, so nice. Obscura has the casualty mechanic. Next up. Ooh. Okay, so it's the one of those that we saw earlier. Where was it? Here. The Raccoon Rogue. This is the... I thought yesterday's Raccoon was the one Maro was teasing in his blog post. Where was he? Yeah, Cabaretti Initiate. But the Raccoon Rogue is this one. From the... Okay, so I think that's pretty much all the cards from the teaser that we've now, like, found. The one that he was referring to. So it's the same thing. This, you pay to exile it, you make one of your lands into one of the tri-lands, and then you can cast it from exile at a later stage for an increased cost. This one has a nice little ETB trigger. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls can't attack or block until next turn. Hey! Not a bad one. Again, I wonder if these will see play in Standard, in Constructed. I really wonder if these, if the effect is good enough and the mana fixing good enough. I think so. I don't think it'll be a 4 of ever, but maybe like a 2 of. So, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on this cycle. They're interesting. This completes the cycle, I believe. Next up, we got a juicy looking mythic, a 7 mana elemental 7/7 with reach and trample. Titan of Industry. When it enters the battlefield, you choose 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Target player gains 5 life. You create a 4/4 green rhino warrior creature token. You put a shield counter on a creature you control. Wow, that's really nice, man. Again, 7 mana seems like a lot, but I don't think so with all these treasures. And this is probably a Riveteers card, and that's a lot of value. You get a 7/7 with reach and trample. You can put a shield counter on itself, so it's a little bit harder to remove the turn it enters the battlefield and do one of these other things. Maybe bring a 4/4 in with it. That's a total of 11 power. Hey, beast mode. Big green. I like a lot. Hey, Moonwatch, if you're watching this, I think this is a card for you. Next up, Swooping Protector. 3 colorless and a white. I thought it said Proctor. Swooping Protector. 3 colorless and a white. For a bird citizen, 2/1 with flash flying. Enter the battlefield with the shield counter on it. Yeah, nice little draft card. That's about all I can say. Oh, and here's the initiate for the brokers. So 1 white. They're all 1 mana, except for the red one's 2. Because it has Blitz, and it's probably the best one. Let's see what this one does. Okay, yeah. Total trash. You need to pay 5 to give it base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. That's a lot to pay to do that. So, yeah. This won't see any play, I don't think. Alright, that's it. We've arrived at the end of today's episode of Spoiler Talk. Lots of bombs. If I had to pick a favorite today, it might be this Angel, guys, but I don't know. What you think? Or Endless Detour. Really good. But probably, if I have to be honest, like, because I'm not a massive Bant Mage. Yes, these are good. It's probably going to be a battle for me, at least as far as favorite cards of today, between Sanctuary, Warden, and Slip Out the Back. This one is probably the one that's going to see the most play out of everything that we've looked at tonight. If not, maybe the where is it? Yeah, the Endless Detour is also, I think, going to see a lot of play. A lot of play. And the little shield counter giver. This is going to see lots of play as well. Ooh, lots of good cards tonight. Lots of nice commons. A couple of really nice uncommons. Let me know in the comments what you think your the best card from today is, and I will see you all a little bit later with some fresh brews. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.